Hey guys, welcome to the Nate Take. My name is Nathan, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you my initial thoughts on the YesWelder YWM-160. It's an IGBT inverter multi-process welder. It does MIG, MAG, flux cord, stick, and lift TIG welding processes all in the same machine. Now everything for all those processes is included with this machine, the only exception being it does not ship with a TIG gun. So if you are going to TIG weld, you are going to need to buy the gun separately. Now in the box, the welder was well packed. It had good foam all the way around it, so it couldn't jostle around and get damaged at all. So the packaging was really good. It certainly wasn't anything quite on the level of like a OnePlus phone or an Apple phone or something like that, but it was certainly very good quality. So first of all, obviously you get the welder. It's kind of expected. You get a manual, right here, has good manual here with all your settings and everything, and even includes some basic troubleshooting if you're having issues with your welds. So this certainly covers all the basics you'll need to know. Next thing that came in there, paper-wise, is this handy dandy little chart here. If I can open it up. This welding setting chart. Alright, that right there. It's actually a sticker too, so that you can put it on the inside cover of your welder here, so you always have it handy. In case you forget a setting or whatever, you can quickly look it up and get at least a baseline to start at. So that's very good to see. Next up, they shipped spare parts here, right? So the wire feed roller here, they give you a spare one. There's already one installed on the machine. They give you two MIG or flux core tips here, which is fantastic. Now this welder is primarily a 220 volt welder as far as the input goes, so you'll need a 220 volt outlet in order to use it. However, if you do not have that and you can't get it, you are given an adapter here so that you can plug it into a standard 110. Now of course, being plugged into 110, it's not going to function the same as plugged into 220. For example, it draws almost double the amps off of 110, which makes sense. And also the output of the machine lowers a little bit on 110, so you can't weld quite as thick a material or quite as fast. But I really like that they include this converter cable with it. Alright, next up, it includes a MIG gas line right here, right? To connect up to the back of the welder and then go to your set of gauges on your tank. 2.5 meter length, whatever that is in freedom units, I don't know. I don't know why they don't just put feet, because I mean, obviously that's superior measurement. What's next? We got a ground clamp. Look at that. So, all of your electrodes, your ground clamp, all that fun stuff plugs in the same exact way on the front of the machines with the same system here. It's a little lug right there, and you just plug it into the port at the front of the machine. You just plug it in, twist it, and it's locked in, and it's not going to come out unless you twist it again. So that's really good. It's a nice heavy gauge wire here. Not super heavy, but I think plenty enough for the amount of amps this machine's going to put out. And then, of course, the ground clamp itself. So we do have a pressed steel style clamp. Maybe not the best look, but I think it'll certainly get the job done, especially considering the fact that it has great big giant copper contacts on the inside there, and a big copper weave there to connect the two, which I think is going to be a fantastic ground clamp. If you guys saw the type of ground clamps that Harbor Freight is putting on their machines, this here is leaps and bounds better in my opinion. Next up, we have our stick electrode, right? So when you're doing your stick welding right here, very nice. I haven't done stick welding yet, so I can't really comment on this on how good it is, but it looks like about the standard stick weld electrode that you'd find. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. Same lug on the front there, or on the cable. So that's all the stuff that comes separate from the welder itself. Now we're actually going to take a look at the welder. Alright, this is a pretty fancy little unit for the price. Well, I am certainly impressed, but before we get to it, let's take a look at the MIG/flux core gun here. Nice clicky tactile switch, which I like. It's got a copper shield, gas shield here at the tip. Has a contact tip already installed here, and it is a 0.8 millimeter tip. Oh yeah, it's got a nice little hang hook here, so you can hang it on something instead of just flopping it down somewhere, right, where it could potentially contact and bzz, when you're not expecting it to. This here, you can just hang it on something, and then that'll stay away from the metal that you're welding. Nice cord here, doesn't feel cheap, feels pretty Nice heavy duty. Alright, so I'm bringing you guys in closer here to actually get a look at the front of this machine, as you can see there. Very fancy. It's got an actual screen here on the front. It's got two little knobs, couple buttons in here. We will plug it in just so we can take a look and see what that looks like here in just a second. It's got a nice little plastic cover that covers it up so that screen can't get damaged by any splatter you may have. Here on the side is our access panel, right? That's the inside. So this here is where your wire is going to go. As you can see, it is plenty big enough to accept a 10-pound, what is that, an 8-inch, I believe, spool of wire. In here we have the controls for our tension. We've got the little tensioner knob. One thing that I like is, see those little markings there? So that way, if you find a wire tension that you like, you can easily set it back, right? So if you have to come in and change it for whatever reason, you can easily put it back and you don't have to remember how many turns you did. This here is your actual feed roller right down here. Very simple to switch out, change around. Quite simple there. As you can see, 0.8 on that side, 0.9 on that side. Now here on the back you see you have your, obviously your on-off switch. This here is your gas input in case you're doing gas welding, need gas shielding. And then here you have a little chart here showing all sorts of data about the welder itself. And of course a cooling fan. Alright, so if we look at this chart, down here at the bottom, this is going to be your maximum amps that it could possibly pull. So on 110 that would be 42 amps, and on 220, 29 amps. So in that case you're going to need a 50 amp outlet for 110, and I would probably go with like a 30, maybe even a 40, probably go 40 just so you have a bit of a barrier for 220. Are we ready to plug this in and take a look and see what this fancy little spaceship screen on the front here looks like? Oh wait, before we do that, the ports down here at the bottom. Let's just take a look at those real quick. Let me unplug this one. So this here is going to be for the wire gun, right? So that's what this is. It stays attached to the machine because the wire gun is always attached. You can't take that apart. Depending on which polarity you're welding with, you can either plug the wire gun into the positive or the negative. Red one is positive, black one is negative. And of course, if you're doing stick or TIG, you just don't plug this in at all. You just completely ignore that. I'm going to pretty much always plug my wire gun into the negative port here on the front. As you can see, I'm probably never going to take that out unless I switch to a different type. And then your ground cable would actually plug into the positive port here. Alright, we've put it off long enough. Let's go ahead and plug this in so we can look at our screen there and take a look at the settings. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the various buttons that are on here. We have the weld mode button right here. Now we've got MIG, mag, stick, and lift TIG as options, right? So MIG, mag, that's going to be what you're going to use for MIG welding, right? Where you have the gas shielding and you're doing flux core. That's going to be your options there. You've got stick, obviously. You're going to use a stick. And lift TIG, which I know nothing about, so I'm going to leave that there. So it's got, those are your options where you can change it. Down here at the bottom, gas selection, CO2 gas at 100%, mixed gas, and gasless. So when I'm doing my flux core, I'm always going to leave it on gasless. Our next function over here is function 2T and function 4T. Now, if you guys do not know what that is, I certainly didn't before I got this welder. 2T basically means where you take, I'm not going to do it because we're not plugged into the right outlet, but you have your gun here and you click the button, you hold it down and you weld. You let go of the button and it stops. If you go over here to 4T, what that does is you click the button, you let go, and it starts to weld and it continues to weld. In order to stop it, you then have to click the button again. Alright, so that's that there. 4T obviously is useful if you have a long weld and you don't want to have to hold the button down the whole time. Now this last one here, weld wire, that's just the diameter, right? So you're telling the machine which diameter you're using. You have 0.030 inch or 0.035 inch. And as you can see, because it's on smart mode, as I switch those, it changes the voltage up here at the top. Now, if we take a look, we can change these settings in smart mode, right? We can adjust them ever so slightly, right? But we do not have the ability to adjust it quite as much. If we really want to dial it in, go to manual, and then we can see we can change the feed speed and the voltage, which we can switch and set based on what we're actually welding. All right, we're gonna go ahead and shut this off so that that loud fan turns off. All right, so that's a quick overview of just what is included with the machine and a quick basic look at the various settings and how you change those settings on the YesWelder YWM-160. Now, what are my thoughts on this welder? I think that it's going to be a much better welder than my previous one, which was the Harbor Freight Titanium. Just based on the quality of the machine, the reviews, it was really highly rated on Amazon. A lot of people said it was a great welder. I have a lot of hope for this welder compared to my last one. I also really like the fact that it's multi-process, so I can try stick, I can try TIG if I ever choose to. I can try all that other stuff. I can even do gas welding on this one, which is very nice. So my initial impressions of this welder is it's going to be a much better beginner welder. So we're going to take a look and see. We're going to give it a try probably tomorrow. And like I said, I'm going to use it for a while, and then I'm going to come back, make a video on what my thoughts are of it. A full review, I guess you could say. Go over everything that I like and dislike about it after using it for probably about a month. I'm going to use it for a while. You guys might see it in some future videos. We'll see. So yeah, at this point, just looking at it, I can't really make a recommendation because I haven't actually used it, but if you guys would like to try one, don't forget that there is a link down in the description to an affiliate code where you can pick one up off of Amazon. And yes, I do get a little bit of a kickback from Amazon if you purchase through that affiliate link. So that is a no cost to you, just another way that you can support me and my channel, so by using those kind of links if you are in the market for this machine. Alright guys, that's all I got for you today. I'm really curious to see what you guys think down below. If you're a welder and you've used this, what's your experience been with it? I would like to know. If you like the video, make sure you like it. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Alright, now, I really don't have anything else for you. Until next time, this is Nathan, signing off.